Power does not always come from armies. Sometimes it comes from ledgers, ink, and trust. Long before Wall Street, long before global banks, one family quietly built the most powerful financial empire Europe had ever seen. This is the story of the Medici Bank, Europe's first true financial giant. In the 14th century, Europe was not ruled by corporations or central banks. It was ruled by kings, popes, and nobles. Wealth was tied to land, bloodlines, and war. But in the city of Florence, Italy, a different kind of power was rising. Not through swords, but through money. And at the center of it all stood the Medici family. Florence was a city of merchants, artisans, and ambition. It thrived on trade, textiles, and craftsmanship. But trade required capital, and capital required trust. This is where the Medici changed history. In 1397, Giovanni di Bicci de' Medici founded the Medici Bank. What began as a modest banking operation would soon transform into the most influential financial institution in Europe. The Medici Bank did something revolutionary. It did not just store money, it moved it, multiplied it, and controlled it. Unlike earlier moneylenders who operated locally, the Medici built an international banking network. Branches opened in Rome, Venice, Milan, Geneva, Bruges, London, and beyond. For the first time, a single banking system connected the financial heart of Europe. One of the Medici Bank's greatest innovations was how it handled credit and transfers. Carrying gold across borders was dangerous and inefficient. Instead, the Medici used letters of credit and internal accounting transfers. A merchant could deposit money in Florence and withdraw it in London without moving a single coin. This reduced risk, increased speed, and made global trade possible on an entirely new scale. But the true genius of the Medici Bank lay in its business structure. Each branch was legally independent but controlled centrally by the Medici family. Profits flowed back to Florence while risks were isolated. If one branch failed, the entire system would not collapse. This decentralized yet coordinated model is still used by multinational banks today. The Medici also perfected double-entry bookkeeping, recording every transaction as both a debit and a credit. This created transparency, reduced fraud, and allowed precise tracking of profits and losses. It may sound technical, but this system became the backbone of modern accounting. Every corporation in the world still uses it, a silent legacy of the Medici Bank. The bank's rise was closely tied to one powerful institution, the Catholic Church. The Medici became the primary bankers to the papacy. They collected church taxes from across Europe and transferred funds to Rome. This made the Medici indispensable to the Pope and incredibly wealthy. More importantly, it gave them political leverage. When you control the money, you influence decisions. Through banking, the Medici gained something more valuable than gold: soft power. They funded wars, financed rulers, and influenced elections. Several members of the Medici family became popes themselves. Others ruled Florence directly. Banking allowed them to blur the line between finance and politics, a pattern we still see today. Yet the Medici understood something crucial. Wealth alone does not secure loyalty. So they invested heavily in culture. They became patrons of artists, architects, and thinkers. Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and Botticelli all flourished under Medici support. This was not charity, it was branding. The Medici turned financial power into social legitimacy. At its peak, the Medici Bank dominated European finance. It controlled currency exchange, trade finance, and government lending. Kings depended on it. Merchants relied on it. The church trusted it. The Medici family had achieved what no dynasty before them had accomplished. They ruled without crowns. But no financial empire lasts forever. The Medici Bank eventually began to decline. Poor management, risky loans to monarchs, internal corruption, and political pressure weakened the system. Kings borrowed heavily and failed to repay. Some branches collapsed. By the late 15th century, the bank fell apart. Yet even in failure, the Medici Bank had already changed the world. Its innovations became the blueprint for modern banking. International branch networks, letters of credit, government debt financing, double-entry bookkeeping, risk diversification, banking tied to political power. These ideas spread across Europe, influencing banks in Amsterdam, Venice, London, and eventually the global financial system. The Medici proved that finance could rival kings, that ledgers could shape empires, that trust could be engineered and scaled. They showed the world that money was not just wealth, it was influence. Today, when multinational banks operate across countries, when governments issue bonds, when corporations manage global accounts, they are following systems first mastered by the Medici. Modern capitalism did not begin in stock exchanges or skyscrapers. It began in Renaissance Florence, inside counting rooms filled with paper, ink, and ambition. The Medici Bank teaches us a powerful lesson. Financial innovation creates power faster than conquest. Those who understand money do not need armies. They move the world quietly through systems others depend on. So the next time you think about banks, remember the Medici, a family that turned finance into dominance, a bank that reshaped Europe, and a legacy that still runs through the veins of modern money. If you enjoyed this story of power, finance, and history, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the hidden forces that shape our world.